wanted to make a quick video about the command bar in Roblox Studio because I know that I didn't really use it that much, and I've been developing in Roblox Studio for a couple of years now, and I just kind of overlooked the command bar, and I really wish I had started using it earlier because it would have just made things a lot easier for me. Now, if you never used the command bar before, it's down here, this little bar right here, and you can view it and you can toggle it. If you go in the View tab, go in the command bar, you can hide it or show it, and it's basically like a little script down here, but it's for the developer. It's like so you can adjust things like in the workspace or anywhere in the game, but without, I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically like it runs a script, but it's not going to just run every time, you know, like how a normal script, if you had a script in here, it'll run every time you run the game, or, you know, like that. It's not like that. It'll just run it one time. So you can just run a piece of code in here and have it do whatever you want. Okay, so let me just start with the basics first. So let's say I want to make a new part. I can do it up here, I'm sure, as you know. I could just click this. But if I want to do it, I can do it in the command bar too. So I'll just call it local f is equal to instance.new part. And then I'll just set the parent to the workspace. And that should be it, really. I could change the position or size also if I want to. But that should work now. So if I do that, hit enter, and we have a new part here. So now what I can do with this part is I can change the properties of it. As I'm sure you know, you can change any of the properties up here, but I'll show you how to do it with the command bar also. So first you just need to get the part. Could just do workspace dot part, or I could assign it to a variable. If I do local f, I just call it f equals part, and then I just do f dot brick color. If I want to change the brick color, equals brick color dot new, or could set it to a random one. I never use this much actually, but I'd assume that it works. Yep, and you can see every time I hit enter, I could just pick a random brick color. And I can also change the size of it, or I could change the position. So if I do size equals vector3.new 20, 20, 20. Now it's huge. Or I could change position. If that position equals vector3. And it's currently at the origin, so I could just move it up by 10. So that way it's sitting on top of it. So you might be wondering, what's the use in this? If you could just do all this in the properties panel, what would be the point? Well, the point is, say you have a lot of parts. Say you have a lot of parts like in a model or something. Let me show you here. This is what I used it on, is in my game I have here. I have all these buildings, and and I wanted to change them all, but it would take a very long time. I mean, I fixed them all already, so I can't really go back and show you what they were like before, but basically I had like a bunch of buildings here, and I wanted to change the properties of them all, but it was taking a really long time. So anyway, let me show you. Like, we have all these buildings here, and if I want to change the color of them, I could just scroll through them and select them all like that, and I could change the color. But let's say, like, maybe some of them are grouped. Like, let's say this one's in a model, or this one's in a model. Well, then I have to open up the models to change the color. So it'd be a lot more work. So what I can do instead then is I can actually do a pairs loop. So for IV in pairs, workspace, city, buildings, and then I'm going to do get descendants. So that'll get the children and the children of the children, and so on and so forth. So it's going to get not only the models and the parts here, it's going to get inside the models, inside the parts, it's going to get everything inside of it. And then I'm going to check if it's a part. So I'll do if v is a part, then change the brick color. So v dot brick color equals brick color dot new, and I'll just make it red. So it doesn't look pretty because it's just all in one line. Like, I don't think you can have multiple lines in the command bar, but it does work. If you type it right. Okay, clearly I typed something wrong. Oh, forgot end. It's kind of tricky because you can't really see, like, you can't see like the different brackets and whatnot. You can't see the different code blocks. So you really got to make sure you type everything correctly. But there you can see, it now changed everything that all the buildings now changed to red. Now something else I could do, I'm going to undo that, or actually you can't undo that. That's, oh, never mind, you can. Okay, I wasn't sure actually, but okay, you can undo some stuff. But I would think there'd be some things that you couldn't undo, but I'm not sure really. Okay, so then let's say, here's another example. Let's say I want to delete all the textures I have in here. Or let's just say I want to delete the front texture. Each one of these buildings has a texture. It's called front. So if I were to try and delete this manually, I'd have to open every single one of these. Well, actually you can do this. You can click on a folder, click expand all, but then I gotta go through them. And sometimes with like models, you could have a lot of different parts like this that you have to go through. So what I can do instead, if it's I could check if it's a texture, but actually don't even need to do that, because I only have one thing called front. So what I can do actually is just do v.name equals front, then v destroy, and make sure I put end, two ends. Now it should destroy all of those. Now you can see all the front textures got destroyed. So I'll just undo that, and Oh crap. Is it not gonna let me undo it? Oh boy. Yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about. That's what I was talking about earlier, like, some of these things you might not be able to undo. So, that means I'm gonna have to add all these back. But, I think I should be able to do it. This actually just made a really good example now. Because now I have a big problem. I need to get all these front textures back, since it's not letting me undo them. Okay, so what I'm gonna do to get all these back, let me think here. Didn't plan for this actually. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. If v dot name equals right, I'm gonna check just for the right texture now. Then I'm gonna clone the right texture. So I'm gonna do v clone, and then I'm gonna do v dot name equals front, and then I'll do the parent, so v dot parent. Actually, wait. We need to assign a variable to the cloned one, so I'll just do local f equals the clone. Okay, so we're actually trying to change f here. So f name, and then f dot parent equals v dot parent. So it's going to set the cloned texture to the original, or the parent of the clone texture is going to be the same parent of the original texture. And let me run it. Okay, forgot end, and I forgot do. And yep, they're all back now. Now the reason they didn't show up is because it didn't set the face correctly. And I knew that was going to happen, but actually I just wanted to show that for demonstration. So, and it's just simpler, just not to have like a really long line of code. So now what I can do is if v.name equals front, then v dot, so we're going to get the face over here, v dot face equals front, and I think that should work, maybe. Forgot end. Alright, awesome. All the textures are back now. So, there you go. There's an example of how you can use it. Now, there's a lot of other things you can do with it, too. I'll show you one more example real quick. Something that's a real big pain to me to do is weld in, because there's no real other way to speed it up, as far as I know. And so, let me just collapse all of that. And you can see here, like, if I wanted to weld all these buildings, currently they're anchored, but let's say I want to weld them all to a base plate. And we'll just say this part here is the base plate, this gold part. So then what I'd have to do, I have to go in city, I have to insert the plus button, make a weld, or a weld constraint, Then I gotta set the part, so I gotta set the building. Then I gotta scroll down. Then I gotta set it to that. And then maybe I could like duplicate it there to speed it up and then move it in there or whatever. But with the command bar, I should be able to do it much faster than that. So, alright, so all I'm gonna do now to get all these welds in here is I'm gonna do V, or first we need to check if it's a part, so, because we don't want welds on all our textures or anything like that, so if V is a part, then we're going to make a new instance of a weld. So local, just call it whatever you want, but I'll just call it F. It's just really easy to type it and reference it. So F equals instance dot new weld. And then I'm going to set the parent, and want to set the parent to the part we're referencing, so which would be V. And then what we want to do is just, we want to set what we want it to weld it to. So we'll do F dot part 0 is equal to V, and then F dot part 1, we want it to be workspace dot goal. And that should make welds now. Make sure I put end, and make sure I put do. Okay, forgot something clearly. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, okay, forgot an equal sign here. Alright, we should have welds in all of these now. And they're all set up correctly. They're all going to be parented correctly and all set up. But actually I don't want those welds. I just made those, so let me actually destroy those real quick. So if V is a weld, then V destroy. End. Alright, and now all the welds are gone. So that's basically what it is, and I know that I didn't use it that much, but now that I know how to use it, I know I'm definitely going to be using it a lot more in my future projects. So I hope it was helpful. I want to show you one more thing real quick. Besides doing pairs loop or anything like that, you can also do weld loops. You can do weld true do, but you gotta be very careful with this because this will run. If you don't have it break the loop, it will just run and you'll have to close Roblox Studio entirely to get it to stop. But I'll show you it real quick. I'll just have it wait a second. Actually, instead of that one, I'm gonna do a repeat loop, or maybe I'll do a for loop. So for I equals 1, 100 do print I, and Oh, let me just have it wait also. Have it wait. And there you can see it's just going to keep printing that until it gets to 100, then I'll stop. So it's basically the same thing, like if you do while true do, you know, it's basically the same thing, but you just gotta, make sure you break it at some point. So I don't even know if I could do an example of this without it crashing, but while true do wait 1. I honestly can't think of an example to show this, but I can maybe do, yeah, I don't really know. I'll show you just for the heck of it. I'll show you. But yeah, if you run it like this, it's just gonna. Well, I didn't tell it to do anything, but print. Let me just have it print something. See, now it's just gonna keep printing this forever. And once you run it, I don't think you can stop it. At least I don't know of any way to, other than just closing Roblox Studio. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the command bar. Hope you found it helpful.